What's going on, guys? Tony Maritato here, and in today's video I want to talk about the topic of going to PT school. Should you go to PT school? When should you go to PT school? How do you make that decision? I'm going to share 5 reasons that I think you should not go to PT school, and the one time that I do believe it's probably the right time to go to PT school. So let's start with the most basic overarching look at the debt. We see that PT school is becoming more and more expensive. We see that students are having to borrow more and more money for it. We know that interest rates are rising. Right now it's September 1st, 2022. We have all of this information in the news about the $10,000 or the $20,000 in debt relief. But even that is a drop in the bucket compared to the actual cost of going to physical therapy school. So if you are not somebody who has an extra $200,000 of disposable income sitting in the bank account, to assume that level of debt between 100, 150, 200,000, it just doesn't seem worth it to learn the skills to get a job that's barely going to be able to pay back the service and the interest on that debt. So I would say the absolute number one reason not to go to physical therapy school is because of the amount of debt most students would have to assume in order to go and pay for it. The second reason is missed opportunity cost. So when we're talking about missed opportunity cost, we're looking at, if I go to PT school today, it's a doctorate degree, it's a 7-year commitment after high school. What else could I have done in those 7 years, either to learn the same skills or to improve my financial footing so that I could better afford going to PT school in the future? Because remember, just because you don't go to PT school now doesn't mean you can't go later. I deferred. I took, I don't know how many years off before I actually went, and we'll talk about that at the end. So if we look at missed opportunity costs, even in the most basic scenario, if you got a job out of high school as a therapy aide, as an exercise tech, you worked in a clinic that is the kind of clinic that you think you might want to work in the future, let's pretend you're making $15 an hour. 2,000 hours a year, you're roughly making $30,000 a year. Now, it's certainly not a livable income for what most of you are seeking. But the idea is, over a 7-year period, which would have been your time in therapy school, you would have saved over $210,000. That's money not counting any raises or cost of living raises. If you were in PT school, you would have been spending, $100,000 to $200,000 on tuition. Room and board is going to balance out in both scenarios, so you can't count that in. But I think the most valuable part of the missed opportunity is the fact that if you're working every single day, 40 hours a week in a physical therapy clinic, hopefully the kind of clinic that you want to work in the future, you're learning skills, you're gaining practical knowledge, you're seeing how real therapists interact with real patients. Potentially, if you want to go into outpatient orthopedic or private practice ownership, you're learning how the clinic markets to new patients. You're learning how therapists interact with patients and with physicians. You're learning maybe some of the back-end finance. Maybe you learn how to generate claims and submit claims and post payments. Maybe you learn how to market the physical therapy clinic that you're in. You are gaining the kind of real-world experience that you can never acquire in the classroom. So you miss the opportunity of gaining all of that information. Plus, don't forget the professional relationships that you're creating. You're making a professional network. You're building a resume. So there is a huge value, even if you're going to get paid half of what you want to get paid, by working in those environments and gaining the knowledge from practical experience. The third reason is what I call the golden handcuffs. Now, it's not the way you typically talk about golden handcuffs, but this is another reason not to go to physical therapy school. If you go and you become a physical therapist, and I think many of you watching this are probably going to agree, you probably will be a really good therapist because you're passionate about therapy and you love treating patients and you love engaging and you love researching and you have all of this knowledge that you want to share. The problem with that is you start to become the go-to resource for patients. So when a patient comes to a clinic, maybe a clinic you're working in, they want to see you. They want to work with you. If you choose to go and open your own clinic, You are such a great therapist that patients only want to work with you. And as a result, you get so busy treating patients, you don't have time to work on your business because you're so busy working in your business. You fill the role of physical therapist and you can never move out of that role to become a business owner, entrepreneur, or anything else. And so they're golden handcuffs because you achieved the goal that you thought that you wanted, which is to become a therapist and be great at what you do. But in that, you've limited your growth potential because you only have so many hours in the day. And then even if you did start your own private practice and delivered the care, the patient experience that you want to deliver, it's really hard for a good or even a great therapist to transition a patient to another therapist. And it's even harder for a really good therapist to watch another therapist treat the patient that you started, because you know what you want to do, while that other therapist may be equally trained or even better. They're not going to do what you do. And so to give up that control, it becomes a very challenging thing to deal with. So we've got the cost of the debt. Reason number one, why you should not go to physical therapy school. We have the missed opportunity cost. Reason number two, we have the golden handcuffs. Reason number three. Reason number four is just a simple misalignment of your goals. What are your goals? Why do you want to go to become a physical therapist? Many individuals that I speak to want to go to PT school because they want a stable job. They want job security. They want to know that they can always get a paycheck. And while that may be true, even in today's environment, if you're halfway decent as a physical therapist, you can always find a job in some setting. But the sacrifice for that is the fact that maybe having a job isn't really what you're trying to achieve. Maybe your goal is to achieve financial security, financial independence. That doesn't always come with a job. You know, if the recent couple years taught us anything, it taught us that when things get tough, when something unexpected happens, the last person who gets fired from a job is the owner, right? When I had my physical therapy clinic, as much as I love my staff, I love my team, they were all laid off and I was the last one continuing to work in the business. So true job security doesn't come from working from a large hospital organization. It doesn't come from working for the government. True job security comes from you having the tools, the knowledge, the resources to create the job that you want, to control the value, to control the time and what you do with that time. So the misalignment in goals is the goal might actually be, I want security, I want independence, I want financial freedom. But then the goal becomes, I'm going to go to PT school to get a reliable job. Well, that job might not provide what you actually want. And it isn't until you achieve the wrong goal that you realize what the true goal actually was. Now, finally, the fifth reason not to go to PT school now, today, in 2022, is because things are changing so fast. We're moving into a completely new economy. We could call it the gig economy. You can call it a technological revolution. Call it what you like. But the reality is, if you're thinking, I graduate high school this year, it's going to take me 7 years to graduate with the DPT, assuming everything goes well. The jobs that I would be training for and learning about today are not going to be the jobs that are available in 7 years. We have no idea where technology is going to take the profession. We have artificial intelligence. We have all of this information that's flooding through. We really don't know what the therapist 7 years from today is going to need to know and understand. So to pay $100,000, $200,000 to learn stuff that was effective in the past doesn't help you in the job market of the future. So I would say the one reason I would say it's the right time to go to PT school is if you've either already created your business, your private practice, or some other business that's going to pay for you to go to PT school, or you have some sort of enough money in the bank, a trust fund, some sort of thing that's going to cover your expenses, And it's going to allow you to focus on your passion. If learning physical therapy is your passion, that's amazing. That's wonderful. I love that you found that passion. But I would not sacrifice your success and financial freedom to pursue that passion. I would first get your financial house in order. Then I would pursue the passion of physical therapy. Guys, if you want more information, if you think there's a better way, absolutely share your thoughts in the comments below. I know I don't have the most popular opinion, but hopefully that's why you guys are still here. That's why you guys are still listening. I'll catch you on the next video.